Hey guys, Brandon Dawson here for the Tribe of Christians. Today's date is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. And early this morning, between 4 and 4:30 this morning, I had another dream, a prophetic dream I believe to be a warning for the nation. Before I get into the details of this dream, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys so much for your support, your encouragement, especially those who have taken the time to financially donate to our ministry through our ministry website or even here on our social media channels. It means a lot, and it helps us to cover all the different fees and the cost of operating this ministry and all of our video channels and whatnot, publishing. Thank you so much. I also want to thank those who have sent your emails. I've gotten a lot of emails from you guys, and they're very encouraging. I read all of them. I respond to all of them, as well as your comments in our social media networks. I read all the comments and respond as well. Thank you so much for the encouragement. A lot of you guys have sent me some emails asking if my wife and I are doing okay, because we haven't really published a whole lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that's just because we have taken time to taken a time out to recenter ourselves, because this ministry can massively take a toll on you. So it's very important that you always stay grounded and centered in the Lord and just take time for yourselves for encouragement. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get right into the dream. All right, so again, today is Tuesday, October 21st. This dream occurred early this morning between 4 and 4:30 a.m. this morning. And the way that it began was I was standing inside of a large building, what seemed to be a processing center. And I was inside of this place. It was just like concrete floors. It wasn't decorative or anything like that. It was just a basic, it kind of reminded me of a huge or large warehouse type place. And I saw rows and rows of white fold out tables and just basic folding chairs in these tables. And I saw thousands of people had been gathered into this processing center, gathered at these tables. It was kind of chaotic. It was very emotional. And I watched as these people were being issued equipment and uniforms were being issued to them like what occurs during the first week of basic training. Now, some of you guys know that I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I was infantry. And what happens is in the very first week where you're shipped out and you arrive, and they call it week 0, you're not downrange training or anything like that. You spend that week waiting to be issued your uniforms, your gear, your equipment, all that stuff. Sometimes it can take 4 or 5 days just to receive all that. You're given your vaccines and all these different things before you're processed and sent down range. This is what it reminded me of. There were hundreds, thousands of people that were being gathered there. They're being issued equipment and uniforms. And so as I'm looking at all these people and I'm wondering, I lift up a prayer and I ask the Lord and the Holy Spirit, what are these people here for? What are they? What are they doing? As soon as I lifted up that prayer and I asked the Lord, I could hear the sound of machine guns firing, and I can hear the sounds of war occurring. And I had like a flash moment within this dream where I saw the ammo clips, I saw the ammo rounds, I saw the 240s and the 249 Bravos, the Mark 19s, the 50 cal weapons in which the Army uses. And then in that moment, I knew right away that these people were being drafted into World War III. So at that revelation, at that moment, a wave of just grief and sorrow hit my soul as I watched these people being taken away from their families, taken away from their friends, and they were being sent into war. And then not just men, but I also saw women. Women were there too. And so some of you guys know that in previous dreams, this is the third dream that I've had about this. The very first dream, and I'll leave a link in the about section when I get time. But the first stream, I saw town hall meetings were occurring because there was a draft. It was 2026. That was the year. And this stream happened several years ago, I believe in 2021. It was 2026, and the men in the communities were holding town halls because there was a draft in place. There was World War III was occurring, and they were drafting women. They changed the rules, and they allowed for women to be drafted. And I don't know how you guys feel about that. Some support it, some don't. I don't know. That's not what I'm here to tell you. But what I did see was the government allowed a special stipulation in the rules for drafting women. They allowed for a family member, a husband, a father, a brother, to stand in place of that woman. So that was the special stipulation that they allowed. And so they were holding these town hall meetings, and they were deciding who was going to go and who would stay behind. And I saw many men volunteering and stepping up to the plate so that these women, their wives, their sisters, would not have to go. Anyway, so there's a lot more to this dream. So I see this group of people being drafted in, and this has hit me real time. I'm just being reminded of that. I still saw women there, which means either they volunteered to go or they had nobody. They had no family members to stand in their place, which the Holy Spirit just prompted me right now to pray over people, family members, or people who have no family members to stand in place for them. So we need to really pray for them and help prepare the way for what's coming ahead of time. So anyways, there was another group that I saw that was present. So there was a second group, and the second group were not people being drafted. They were actually volunteers, and I was among this second group. And they were volunteers, and they were serving their communities, and I saw large food drives and large blood drives taking place. They were accepting food drives, canned goods. There were storehouses, warehouses filled with canned goods that were being donated and being used, not just for the war, but to serve all the families who were being impacted by what's going on. And so as I saw this happening, all the donations coming in and people volunteering and serving, out of nowhere, I see a counter, and I see a woman approach this counter, and I see a small bell, like the kind that you would ring that sits on top of a hotel desk, or the kind that's on the desk at the wait station at a restaurant where they ring the bell when an order is ready or whatever. So I see a woman approach the counter. There's this bell sitting there, and she hits it really loud. And she lifts up her voice, and she begins calling out loudly, "Order ready for Hegseth. Order ready for Hegseth." She just kept repeating it, kept calling it out loud, as if something was prepared and he was being called up front to get this order. And so after I see this, the entire dream shifts, and I see a new scene. And I'm watching the news on TV. And it's on every news station, and I see massive protests that are rising up. Not like what we're seeing right now. These weren't Antifa. This was not all the No Kings protests. This was different. This was actually from conservatives from the right, and I saw hundreds of millions of people marching with President Trump leading the march, and I could see the sign that he was holding up. They held up large banners all across the front of these groups as they were marching, and on the front of this banner read, "We will not stand accused." And that was it. That's all I saw, and I woke up. Now, I'm not going to add anything else to this dream. I'm not going to speculate or any of that, because most of the time I'm wrong in my speculations. So anyways, I'm going to ask for you guys to pray over the nation, pray for your leaders, pray for everything, because I believe we are heading into some very difficult times. And I believe that these things are purpose. They serve a purpose. And I believe those purposes are the transition phase, the breaking of the water, right? And the birthing pains leading into the tribulation period. These are the coming pains, the sorrow, the birthing pains, We know we have to get from point A to point B somehow. And I believe this coming World War III is that point that serves as the catalyst that leads us into these things. All the technology is already there. We see all the lawlessness is already there. The deals are already happening in the Middle East. It's all there. So now is a time more than ever that we need to be praying, that we need to be preparing, that we need to be sharing and speaking the gospel boldly. And do not assume anything. Just don't assume it. Don't assume that somebody knows or believes in Jesus. Don't take anything for granted. Just be diligent, be obedient, and just stay encouraged. So anyways, guys, that's going to conclude it. Any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me. And as always, stay encouraged. Keep running your race. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. Whatever you do, never lose hope and never give up.